once you've determined the nature of the threat and you know how severe it is, is there a safest path to getting back in operation? For instance, you mentioned the difference between building from a backup. But what if the cyber attack actually impacted your backups? What are the options of trying to think through getting back up and running?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think, the question included really what is the best answer. And I just want to pause on it because it's important to emphasize making sure you have those backups and creating them in a way that they're segregated from your network so that it's not easy for the attack to spread from your primary system to your backups. It's much easier to respond to an attack if you're just bringing up a backup that was created 24 hours ago and you've essentially got your systems and your data restored but for the last few hours than it is if you've got no systems and you're left building from scratch. If you're in that unenviable position, really you have two possibilities in the case of a ransomware attack. You can either begin rebuilding from scratch and trying to reconstitute your network and your services from the ground up, and that can take months and millions of dollars. Right. Or you can pay the ransom and hope that the ransomware perpetrators unlock the computers or return control of your data to you once you've paid the ransom.
In that unfortunate situation where you're having to negotiate the ransom, is this something you should be doing directly, or are there professionals that need to get involved here?
There are professionals that should be involved here that do this for a living, and they know everything from the nuts and bolts of how to obtain the type of currency that most of the ransom perpetrators want to be paid in, to how a ransom is negotiated and how far you can negotiate without risking, sort of further harm from the bad guys. They can also do things like try and take prophylactic steps to authenticate or identify the ransomware providers. Some of these big ransomware providers have been sanctioned by the Treasury Department and the Department of Commerce in the United States, and it's actually illegal to pay a ransom to them. And you want to, at the very least, know you're taking on that additional legal risk if you are. So getting someone who has expertise and a background in ransomware payments to help your company can be critical. The FBI can also provide some help in that regard. They know a lot of these threat actors, and they know, for instance, who may be reliable and who's likely to unlock your system if you pay the ransom and who may not be. They will not negotiate a ransom for you. Their official position will be that you should not pay the ransom, and therefore it's important to get private sector help on that as well.
And I want to go back to the importance of those backups again, because let's say you do pay the ransom. Can you just assume that, all right, I got whatever the special keys are to get back into my systems? Can you actually assume that they're safe?
Not necessarily. So you can hope that this is a business model and ransomware perpetrators are repeat players. And if they develop a reputation for not unlocking systems when a ransom is paid, that people will stop paying the ransom. So there are some incentives that work on the victim side there. There are also a lot of copycats out there who, don't take such a long-term view of this and maybe don't have as much honor among thieves and won't unlock. So you always have to be ready for the contingency that, even paying the ransom may not work and may not result in prompt restoration of your services, and kind of work on parallel tracks, even if you think you're going to pay the ransom to try to restore your services.
Super helpful again. And I think the lesson learned of this section is backup, but make sure it's on a different location in a different system.
Absolutely.